And we also found that you may be getting some in-person, in-home advice on how to fill out that ballot, but only if you're a registered Democrat.
Our investigation tonight starts with 17's Eitan Wallace, who has been studying this issue since July.
In April, as the deadly potential of coronavirus became apparent, Registrar of Voters Mary Bedard asked the Kern Board of Supervisors to order a 100% vote-by-mail election. Just 6 weeks prior, of 162,000 votes cast in the Super Tuesday primary, 72% were mailed in. Supervisors voted 4-1 straight down party lines to reject the proposal. 2 weeks later, the governor issued a statewide order. That means every single registered voter in California will receive one of these, a ballot. Your ballot will come here to your home, and after you fill it out, you're going to send it back in the mail, and then the ballot is no longer in your hands. So the big question now, is your vote safe?
This is going to be the greatest election disaster in history.
Should people be worried about voting by mail?
Really, people shouldn't be worried about voting by mail.
Mary Bedard is the Kern County Registrar of Voters. She points out since 2010, the number of people voting by mail in Kern has dramatically increased. Even 10 years ago, roughly 48% of votes were sent through the United States Postal Service. Of those, nearly 60% were registered Republicans. In the Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump presidential election of 2016, the number increased to 53.5%. Republicans overwhelmingly outnumbered Democrats. Those were, quote, absentee ballots. Critics say there's a big difference between absentee voting and the universal vote by mail now underway. In the past, voters who wished to vote by mail in California had to request ballots. Critics say that kept the list of recipients up to date and promoted additional security measures. Bedard ensures the public the necessary safeguards are in place. For example, each voter must sign the back of the ballot.
We check every single signature, so when it comes into our office, we review the signatures, make sure it compares to the signature we have on file for that voter. So then we check those signatures. That's why it takes a little longer to process the vote-by-mail ballots.
In a handful of instances, county elections officials challenge a signature and hand it over to the district attorney.
It's maybe less than 5 in an election, and in March, I think we had 160,000 ballots cast, and so you had just a handful. The district attorney's office will then investigate that to see if it actually was an attempt at voter fraud.
But those are rare. Our legal reporters scoured nearly 40 years of records. Since the 1980s, prosecutors filed charges in only 57 cases, 13 felonies and 44 misdemeanors. Some of those crimes, voting despite not being a citizen. Since 1980, Kern County has had 43 countywide elections, including primaries and off-year elections, with an estimated 10.8 million total votes. The 57 cases would represent 5/10,000ths of 1%. We filed Freedom of Information Act requests and found records that show since 2017, when the Postal Service first began to keep track of vote-by-mail theft, there have only been 3 known thefts in Kern County.
Donald Trump's claims against vote by mail are simply false. And not only that, they're reckless and they're dangerous.
Secretary of State Alex Padilla runs elections statewide. He is the person who will officially certify the results on December 16th. Padilla blasted the president's assertions as untrue.
Vote by mail is nothing new in California and in states across the country that have used no excuse vote by mail for decades.
As of now, 41 states will allow vote by mail this year. 8 of those states will mail a ballot application in advance to every registered voter, while 7, including California, will automatically send a ballot. Meanwhile, 9 states still require an excuse beyond COVID-19 to vote absentee. The changes in how we vote? A dramatic shift. Up until now, only 5 states voted primarily by mail. Padilla trusts the system.
Hard to counterfeit a ballot, if you will, between paper types and watermarks, other distinguishing features. The return envelopes are unique for every voter. They come with barcodes, an intelligent mail barcode, so we can track them through the postal delivery process.
But vote by mail is a highly partisan issue, and Padilla is one of the state's top Democrats. So we found the last Republican to serve as the Secretary of State. Currently a nonpartisan member of the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors, Bruce McPherson served as California Secretary of State from 2005 to 2007 when he was a registered Republican.
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger nominated me to be California Secretary of State.
Before that, he was a Republican state senator and member of the Assembly, where he was chair of the Elections Committee.
Should people be worried about voting by mail?
No, I do not think so. I think there are ways to combat any kind of funny play, shall we say. Although there are a few instances, maybe in any election, but by and large, it is carried out very thoroughly. The signatures are checked. It is what it is. It has been for some time, and it just become heightened in really partisan bickering at this point, more so than I've ever seen it, like any other issue, it seems. But I feel confident that the election system is safe, and we just have to continue on it and regain our trust in it, and I feel confident that we'll have an accurate vote on Election Day.
The United States Postal Service declined an on-camera interview for this report, but released a statement expressing confidence in the security of the postal system. There's lots more on a special section of our webpage, kget.com. Eitan Wallace, 17 News.